Hello YouTube. I have a project update. Don't really have a project today. Got one coming up. This is just an update as to what we've been doing since the last update. And the first thing is that the seals that were missing came in, so we can put those seals in. Okay, let's go put it on. Let's slide the rotor in place. Being careful of the seal. Now, we want to hold it on there so it doesn't fall off. This is the sync that the hardware gets installed. We have the outer bearing, a spacer. This is unique to Speedway. A keyed washer and the castle nut. So we take the outer bearing, the spacer unique to Speedway, keyed washer, and the castle nut. So we've done both sides, and that puts those seals in place. Now, I will have to take it all apart again to paint the whole front axle. So the next thing we did, took the calipers all apart, and we lubricated the sliders and painted the calipers. And now we're going to install them on the car. So we have discovered a problem. And it has to do with tie rod ends and the brake slider. Now I'll take you over to the other side and show you what the problem is. And I don't know what the solution is yet. This is the driver's side. And on the driver's side you would normally have a steering gearbox and a link of some kind from the steering gearbox to this connection. However, you can't get one in there. The slider for the brake won't allow a tie rod end to slide into this hole. So I'm not sure what to do about that. I'm going to have to give Speedway a call and see what they say. Now in the instructions they say to put this arm on the upper side, and that would probably give me clearance, but the problem is the steering knuckle doesn't fit because of the extended boss on the top because of camber. Now that we have the calipers on and have discovered this interference problem, it's time to put the tire on and see if we got an interference problem that way. And it looks like we're good to go. No interference. By the way, I did call Speedway. And they tell me that the steering knuckle is supposed to be opposite the caliper, which means that this is a front steer. And if I want it to be a rear steer, I have to put the caliper on the front, switch the spindle, the caliper brackets from one side to the other side, and put the calipers in the front and have the steering arms go out the back. So I've got some more work to do here. Now, on to the next project. I've been missing this hose from the water pump to the radiator for some time now. And my son came up with this hose in his collection of hoses, and it's a perfect hose in that it slides over that pump just beautiful. And what we have to do is cut it down. What I think we'll do is put the hose on and mark it a ½ inch longer than what I need for the travel between the front of the pump and the radiator. So we'll make that a ½ inch longer, and we'll make our first cut there and then make a final cut. And the way I try to get a nice straight cut is I take some tape and I wrap it around the hose. And then cut to it. And when I do my final cut, which is only a 1/2 inch, I won't have to fight the material as much, and I'll get an even better cut. Trial fit number 1. Put the hose on, and it looks like I'm more like 1 inch long, and that's why we do it, so that we can cut it a second time. And I'm going to mark it right here. And that's right at the beginning of the boss of the weld for the radiator. Now we have to cut the upper hose. So we slide this hose on, and it's a good match for on the lower hose. This is 2 inches in diameter. And I got another 1/2 inch here between the hose and the outlet. So if I cut 2 inches off here, I'll have a 1/2 inch to play with for my final cut. With my rough cut made, we're getting close. I have to take about another 1/2 inch off or so. But there's this boss right here. And I really want the hose to go on a little further than what this boss is going to allow. So I'm going to cut a little boss in the hose so that the hose can slide up further on here. I mean, it's almost there. I mean, see this? I just want to cut that out right there. And I think I'll take a 1/2 inch off of this. Let's slide the final cut hose on. And tighten some clamps down. So we now have a complete closed cooling system for the motor. I want to redo this upper hose. I did a terrible job of cutting the upper hose. But that's it for this update. There'll be more.